Shalom, everybody. We're back with the Baal HaSulam's Matan Torah with commentary by Rabbi Avraham Morechai Gottlieb, who I'll be referring to as the Rebbe Shlita. We're in the middle of the sixth section of the book Giving, the translation. We're on page 70 towards the top. Last class, we were speaking about being a chariot and the different modalities of the will to receive, inanimate, plant, animal, and speaking. And we left off with the notion of us having the opportunity to become a chariot and refining ourselves so that we can reveal the Creator within us, so to speak, and be a vehicle to reveal His light in the world. So, transitioning from that, the Baal HaSulam says, due to the greatness and beauty of this perfection, even the Torah and prophecy were careful not to speak a word about this extreme state. Our sages were hinting to this in their saying in the Talmud, Masechet Brachot 34b, quote, all prophecy was directed towards the days of the Mashiach, but regarding the world to come, quote, no eye has seen God other than you. From Isaiah or Yeshaya 64:3. This matter is well known to those who have found spiritual knowledge, and here is not the place to expound on it. On the quote from Yeshaya 64:3, the Rebbe Shlita has two comments. Before we get into it, I just wanted to note, I'm not so sure, but the notion of no eye has seen God. In Kabbalah, there is different corresponding parts of the face, because the face is a symbol of something that's revealed. So there's different corresponding aspects of the face to the Sefirot and the worlds. And much of this is explained in the introductory books, such as the Beticha, which the first two chapters are translated, which can also be found in the link in the description, as well as the introduction to the Zohar, translated by Yedida Cohen. But the eye is alluding to Chokhmah. Just to run through it quick, the Keter is the forehead, so to speak, even though the crown is not part of the head. It's not part of the face, it's above it. But nonetheless, it's kind of regarded in this area. Chokhmah is the eyes. Bina is the ears. Tiferes, which is a collection of the six Sefirot, Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, and Yesod is the nose. Then Malchut is the mouth. So perhaps no eye has seen God is saying that even this level, this ultimate supreme level that nothing in the Torah was alluding to, is above that. Because Chokhmah, the Chokhmah, as we've referenced in a prior class, is referring to the experience of God, receiving in order to give, fulfilling the purpose of creation. So perhaps this ultimate state that we'll get into, being Devekut or Devekus, is closer to union with God by definition. And so perhaps it's alluding to Yehudah, the highest level. But I digress a little bit. If you want to learn more about it, I'd recommend the other introductory books. So Rebbe Shlita says on the quote, all prophecy was directed towards the days of the Mashiach, but regarding the world to come, no eye has seen God other than you. He says, the verse, no eye has seen, comes to define the tremendous perfection that is designated for each person in accord with his or her attributes. What is that perfection? It includes even the state of no eye has seen. Created beings themselves cannot attain this and see this final supreme level of connection between the created being and the Creator. This is a wondrous level, uplifted and supreme, and therefore none of the prophets expressed anything about it. He also says, the time of the Mashiach is the completion of the fixing of the world that takes place during the 6,000 years of the world. and this completion is considered as perfection in comparison to the years that preceded it. However, there is a more perfect state, not just in comparison to the 6,000 years, but perfection in itself. And that is what is called the next world, or Olam Haba. Why 6,000? Why 6? We see this a lot in our life. We have 6 days of the week, and then we have Shabbat. We have 6 years of agriculture, and then we have the Shabbat, so to speak, of farming, which is the year of Shemitah, where we put it to Hashem's hands and we say, no more, it's all you. And now we have 6,000 years, and then the time of Mashiach after that. And perhaps it's going to come before then, as we so hope and pray. So it's taught in Kabbalah that the 7 days of creation are corresponding to the lower 7 sefirot, or the midot, the attributes of character that we are here to refine. So going down the line again, from day 1 all the way till Shabbat, is Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut. So the 6,000 years is the correction of the primary midot, and then we will have an experience of rest, a stop of our inner work, so to speak, reaching a relative perfection before the ultimate perfection, which we don't quite understand according to this, but we'll try to as we continue the class. And that is Malchut. Malchut is corresponding to a degree to Shabbat, and there's a lot of amazing, beautiful detail about how we are the Malchut, and Malchut is corresponding to the collective soul of all of us, the unified soul that we're correcting. And Shabbat being a day of rest is alluding to that final perfect state, because only things that are in motion need to be corrected, otherwise we wouldn't move. Things that are in rest, that's perfect. And only the Creator is at rest. And I wanted to note an idea regarding the next world. Even though we're speaking about the ultimate perfection, perfection in itself, there's a more practical idea between this world and the next world. This world, Olam Hazeh, is this exact moment. What am I feeling? Where am I holding in this moment? That's Olam Hazeh. And the Arizal says that Olam Haba is the next spiritual world to come. So yes, we're talking about perfection in itself, being heaven or paradise, different names, ultimate enlightenment, whatever you want to call it. But also practically, Olam Haba is the next level, which can be in a minute, in a day, you name it, it's up to us. So it's amazing to discover so many corresponding ideas and paradigms with words, and how all of the Torah is written in such a code. It's a great merit to be able to learn it. So the Baal HaSulam continues. The Torah, the prophets, and our sages express this state of perfection only by the simple word, devekut, cleaving to God. Due to this word's widespread use among the public, it has almost lost all meaning. However, if you linger momentarily to reflect on this word, you will continue to be amazed at its marvelous height. For consider the nature of divinity, and consider the value of the lowly created being, and then you can appreciate how extraordinary the relation involved in one cleaving with the other. And then you'll understand why we ascribe to this word the purpose of all this great creation. We were put on this planet in order to reach the Vekut, another corresponding word to us correcting ourselves and reaching the state of giving, so on and so forth. The Rebbe Shlit says, divinity should be pictured as something eternal and completely unlimited by time or space, or place, or any element connected to physicality. Speaking of which, So we find that divinity is nothing other than the master of the universe, who instantaneously brings into being and gives life to the entire universe in each and every moment and situation. In contrast to the viewpoint of divinity, we see a picture in which is painted the lowly state of the flesh and blood human who is not eternal. We decay even as we live our lives, and we completely reek of lusts and desires. We are full of worry, distress, despair, and sorrow. We are limited by our place in time and space and the perception of our five senses. How can this lowly creature that has no value whatsoever make contact with the Creator? This is why Baal HaSulam says that the cleaving of the created to the Creator is the final purpose of all this great creation, and it is the greatest wonder of the creation. Wow. A beautiful idea I wanted to share from inner work regarding this notion between us and the Creator as we attempt to reach the Vekus, something to meditate on. The Bashita says, imagine there are no people in the world other than yourself. Everyone else is actually God, clothed as people. That has to be understood. We're not saying, God forbid, that any one person is God. God forbid. Very far from that. Rather, we're saying that to meditate and ingrain that God acts through everyone, including you and I. To imagine to yourself that you're the only thing in existence. The world was literally made for you, and everything you experience, being all people around you, let alone all events, is the Creator speaking to you. And when I meditate on this, I get a sense of awe, sense of urgency to treat the other better, to be more cognizant and aware of my actions, because we're not just dealing with people, we're always dealing with the Creator, because He's within all. Rabbi Shita continues in a second comment on the Baal HaSulam's statement, and then you will understand why we ascribe to this word, being Devekus, the purpose of all this great creation. The Rabbi Shita says, what is the idea of Devekut, cleaving to God? Baal HaSulam explains this in several places. The meaning of Devekut is connection, that is, equivalence of form. In other words, when the created being equates his or her attributes to the attributes of the Creator in accord with, quote, just as He is merciful, so are you to be merciful. From the Talmud, the Sechet Shabbat 133b. The more we advance in equating our nature and spiritual form to the Creator, the more we approach Devekut. This is not a level that one can reach in one leap, but rather one tiny jump after another. To the degree that we advance, we merit a treasure of sensing and understanding the Creator's providence and a continually tightening connection with the Creator. No doubt the Creator could have revealed His light, the light of divinity, also in our vessels for receiving, and then we would receive everything for our own benefit. However, the Creator wants to enable people to merit having complete Devekut with Him, and this can be done only on the basis of equivalence of form, that is, that one gets to the level of desire to give selflessly, just as the Creator desires to give selflessly. Then, God's revelation will illuminate in a perfect manner in our vessels of giving. That is, through our intention to give contentment to the Creator, and not through our intention to receive benefit. And it says here, for more on this topic, see Insights for Living the Kabbalah 2, Cleaving to God. Because this translation of Matan Torah includes essays by the Rebbe Shlit in the back. There's 7 or 8 amazing short essays that are relevant to all the topics we're speaking about here. And what this section is alluding to, or at least what this comment is alluding to, is hard work and how we should earn our Tefekus, as opposed to just being handed it, which relates to the feeling of shame. And we're going to get more into that deep contrast of shame and earning through hard work in the next class. The final paragraph of the Baal HaSulam for this section. It follows that the purpose of the entire creation is that the lowly creatures will be able, by keeping Torah and mitzvot, to rise ever upward, ever developing until they are rewarded with cleaving to the Creator. May He be exalted and blessed. Rebbe Shlit says here an amazing story, a metaphor really, that really strikes home the mission statement that we have here of a balanced diet, so to speak. Rebbe Shlit says, although there was a large community of people who observe Torah and mitzvot, not many of them can boast at arriving at Devekut with the Creator. So have Torah and mitzvot failed to do what they are supposed to do? This question was asked of Rabbi Baruch Shalom Ashlag, the Rebbe Zatzal, as he answered with the following parable. A certain person arrived at the doctor's office, groaning in agony and complaining of pain all over his body. The doctor carried out the necessary examinations and then informed him that there is one medicine that can help him. And he must take massive doses 3 times a day. The patient rushed to buy the medicine and began to take it. After 3 days, he came to the doctor with double the horrible pain he had before. He could hardly speak, but he asked the doctor why the medicine isn't helping. The doctor asked him whether he took the medicine 3 times a day, as he had prescribed. The patient replied, certainly, 3 times a day I spread the medicine on my body. The doctor said to him, I told you to take the medicine within, and you spread it outside. The moral: Torah and mitzvot can have benefit if we internalize them and begin to change our manner of thought and feeling, our desires and aspirations, our speech and manner of behavior, all in accord with the policy delineated by the Torah. However, if we accept the Torah only externally, that is, we only follow external behaviors, and we pay no attention to the fact that the Torah guides us to make inner changes, then not only are we thereby not repaired, but we are liable to get more corrupted. What this statement seems to imply is that if we're involved only in the outer aspects of the Torah, being, let's say, the Talmud, which has lots of inner aspects to it, but for the most part, the way we learn it in the Jewish world today is the external aspects of it, as well as the Jewish law. I don't mean to belittle these whatsoever. They are absolutely incumbent on a Torah lifestyle, and they're the foundation. We can't have a soul without a body. But we need a balanced diet. The Jewish people are sick. What do I mean? We're sick with our desire to receive. We're sick with our evil inclination. We are in exile. That's a fact. We say that every day that the temple is not rebuilt. It's as if it was destroyed in this day. So the temple was destroyed today, right now. Hopefully by the time you hear this, it's rebuilt. But practically speaking, it's not. And it was destroyed because of baseless hatred. It was destroyed because of an overrunning of the desire to receive in the collective consciousness of the Jewish people. So the way to repair that, understandably so, is to heal. Is to take the medicine. As we've referred to in a prior class, the Torah is a spice, or it's a condiment. It's the drug, it's the medicine to the Yetzer Hara, to the evil inclination, to the desire to receive. And yet, we're not taking it. Because Torah is an overarching concept that has to do with fixing ourselves internally and becoming better people. It's not just information that we absorb. There's lots of rabbis out there, amazing people and amazing teachers, but there's many professors out there that know lots of information and can teach well too. So practically speaking, there's a lot of Talmud professors. There's a lot of halacha, being Jewish law professors. And there's not necessarily rabbis or leaders that can guide us in our spiritual work and our goal to come to Devekut, because perhaps they themselves aren't involved in the matters and aren't learning it. So we advocate for a balanced diet. Both the inner and the outer aspects of the Torah is necessary to climb up the ladder. Rabbi Shlita says in Inner Work, in our generation, it is necessary to learn Kabbalah. I can say straight out and undiplomatically that today we have no chance of spiritually fixing ourselves through only the outer aspects of the Torah, as we've stated here. It's possible that in prior generations that was possible. But we live in a generation where the desire to receive has multiplied, in a sense, and it's grown much stronger for the purpose of needing greater lights and greater refinement, which is going to come through this learning and this study of the inner aspects of the Torah. Rabbi Shita also says in Inner Work, the essence of Geula, redemption, is only one thing: attaining union with God, which is Devekus. This is the subject of the Kabbalah. There's nothing else that says it and speaks about it so explicitly, other than maybe books regarding Emunah, faith, or Chassidus, and things of this nature. But Kabbalah in particular is referring to this notion in a concentrated way, which is why it's so incumbent upon us to be involved in it. Rabbi Shita also says the wisdom of Kabbalah is an aspect of Mashiach. This is why there is great opposition to Kabbalah in the world. Selfishness is very afraid of this light of Mashiach because it means the end of its power. And all the selfish aspects within ourselves, within our consciousness, assuming we haven't already involved ourselves in such learning, fights and says, I don't want to be involved in this. It's not worth it. But we see from all the greatest Kabbalists who have lived in the past 2,000 years that this is the way. It's said explicitly, time and time again. The Baal HaSulam was not the first. The Gra, the Ramchal, the Baal Shem Tov, the Arizal, of course, so on and so forth, said explicitly that's only to the merit of this learning that will come to redemption. And the Mashiach that many people yearn for is completely different from what Mashiach actually is, says the Rabbi Shlita. Why? Because the Mashiach is going to teach us how to give, how to serve. People's idea of Mashiach, the thing that they're praying for, that they think is Mashiach, is something that's going to come and save the day. And they can kick back their feet and go on vacation, so to speak. But it's the opposite. We're going to work more. We're going to do more. And it's going to be infinitely more pleasurable because we'll actually be able to give out of love for the other. And that's difficult. That's bitter to hear. But it's the bittersweet truth. Tov. Wishing everybody the best. Until next time. All the best.